go, nah, I'm a muffle it.
Yeah, like,
Yo, I'm killing. But
right.
you know, that's how it goes. Started like this. I am a guy from a place, CharmCityBipper, Quis The Vndl. Marquis is the name my mama gave me. I'm here at Cajou Creamery with an intelligent black man from a space in the world that I've always wanted to visit. I haven't visited it yet. Cause life just be lifing.
Right.
And sometimes it gets trifling, but I'm grateful because of the conversation we've had prior to this one. What I've come to know about you in that much of a conversation, but
Yeah.
time isn't a true testament to the value of things. The value is exactly what it is. So
Right.
I'm grateful to be in this space for a lot of reasons. I found this space last year at Vegan Soul Fest. I have a shirt on because I got a shirt from the festival. You know, that's how you, that really mean you win something, you get a shirt. So,
You gotta represent.
Gotta represent. So I'm grateful for Cajou Creamery, located on Howard Street. Grateful for all the businesses in our community, all the references I'm continuing to gain. This is Brennen Scott. And like I said, intelligent investor, a person who reminded me in a time where I needed to be reminded that too positive is not an insult.
Nah, it's crazy to hear somebody tell you that, but it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
You're like, wait, what? Never. It's like finding a new planet. Your brain can't even fathom how somebody could say, "Yo, you too happy."
Yeah,
It's like, wait, whoa,
too happy.
okay,
Yo, it's raining outside. We in the gutter. Like, but I can still smile. like, so, like I said, there are a couple things that I've sat with since we talked. Imposter syndrome, survivor's remorse. Some of the things that have continually been used to define us that don't define us.
Right.
I was laughing, thinking back to you were speaking about the search for a vibe with the young lady.
Yeah.
These
I mean,
moments.
I'll just let you continue your intro. I know it's a lot because even yesterday the conversation went like 2-3 hours. So
yeah.
Honestly, that was the same thing like when I met Dwight. It was just like we started rapping about everything. It was just like, all right, you know, you don't have to find a vibe. It finds you, kind of thing, you know. It's just like a lot of other things. You can use all the quotables in the world, you know, but it's when it's truly something that you vibe with, and that's in anything, honestly, I find, you know, whether it be negative, positive, you know, in the middle, outside the box, inside the box. If you come across something, usually if it's meant for you, you don't have to work for it at all, you know. It's what I found in life for the most part.
It's true. It's when you tap into the fact that everything has a voice. Yeah. We have to be open to hearing it. So it's like we're not always listening. And life is saying so much.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't check the weather, so I don't know what it is. It's like, well, how's the wind sound? like how does it feel? And like, what is your body responding to this space as? Like,
right.
You always need that exact information to build from it?
Nah, not at all. I mean, but I mean, it also too, like honestly, I thought about this the other day, and it's, you know, people blame it on, every generation blames it on something. You know, I think about my mom and how she always talks about, you know, her generation, how they grew up in the 60s. My mom was born in 52. So it's just like her teenage years was in the 60s, though, you know, or like in the 50s, 60s. And it's just like crazy to hear, like, you know, what older people condemned younger people for back then, or condemned society for back, like what the thing that was going to end the world back then, or the thing that was going to crumble society or make people weaker. So every generation has it. And that's the funny thing to me about life, is that even like people in my generation, my age range, a lot of people have kids already, and they have like teenage kids, or the kids are just graduating high school. And it's crazy to see people like my age, literally we're only 20 years out of high school, and they're already with see, these kids these days are disrespectful. Like, bro, I can just remember me and some of my friends going to the IHOP back in the day, and like literally my friends just getting up and running out.
Dishing bills. Like
if we had cameras back then, I remember one of my homeboys, his name is Mark. he used to do all like the jackass type of stuff at school. So he used to like set trash cans up in the hallway and then would just hurl himself into them like a bowling ball. I mean, it's just, man, come on, man. Like, it just really like,
Yeah.
it doesn't get to me, but it's just like kind of like a smirk and hilarious. Like, damn, every generation repeats a cycle. And I always think about I forgot what his name is, but the cat that came up with the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. And so it's just funny. People go, "Oh man, look at these young kids' music." It's like, have you heard Luke in a 2 Live Crew?
Right.
Like, I remember my first dance I went to, it was nothing but dry humping.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, this is how you dance.
It's never not been that. And that's what is the falsehood. Like, when you make it beyond something, you forget what it took to get you out of it, or you forget who you were when you were going through.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm grateful for is my yoga practice, because I get to reflect on who I was in a more honest way. I'm like, okay, the person I was in that season is who I had to be. Yeah. Because that is what's allowed me to be this one. But like you said, I came up in, like, I was 10 and 06. So by 09, I'm 13, right? I'm just, right. But I always had older cousins. I always had people that were doing things above me. So MySpace comes out, all my cousins on MySpace.
That was a wild time.
Freak parties are going on. That's what we call them out here. So like, you go to skate line, that was like Putty Hill, Orchard, or Shake and Bake. You go to these different spaces. Yeah. You skate for a little bit. Certain point, everybody get out the skates. They cut on the freak music, and pandemonium. I laugh though, because we had those intentional spaces, and I don't see a lot of those for the youth now. So they're doing it in a way where it's like, oh,
because it's online.
It's online, so it's like, where is their skate line? Where is their space to go have that moment of intimacy? But
that's the thing, they don't need it, because like every generation has their thing. You know, I was just laughing at my mom. And if you just pay attention to people, man, just truly pay attention and don't look at it with a judgment. But my mom the other day, literally on the phone, she was like, yeah, because I had one to the malt shop. And she was referring to something when she was like, she was going to get some ice cream. And I was like, holy shit, the malt shop. Like, god damn, how old are you? Like, I heard nobody say a malt since 1960, 1950, but that's when she grew. That's what they called it. You know, that was the vibe, or whatever you want to call it. You know, so it's just like, when I look at people that are younger today, they don't necessarily need physical spaces, because they go, boom, I can get on the Oculus, or I can get on I can get on somebody's live, or I can get on what's the other one, streaming. Like the amount of people that are on these streaming platforms, and they can like do like these battles between each other now, like that's their physical space. It doesn't have to be, oh, we're all going to us. Like malls are low-key dead. You know, there's still some people, like content creator kids go there, and you know, and people still go there or whatever, but for the most part, it's what they growing up to. It's what they're growing into. You know, so I never look at it like, oh man, it's bad because they don't do what we did. Like if life is about elevation, then let people elevate.
And figure out what they consider elevation.
Can't stagnate somebody else, a whole nother generation, when somebody just did it to you less than a decade ago. You know what I'm saying? Like it's asinine, really. But I mean, it's human nature, so I don't think it ever stops.
It's the ways of the world.
Right.
Yeah. I laugh too, because as I reflect on it, like, I ask the kids, like, what do y'all want to see more of? And sometimes I'm projecting, like, what I would want. And that's always one of those things. Like, I don't have any children yet, but I taught in the school for 3 years. And when I was in the school, it was this constant reminder to myself, like, don't show up as what you would have wanted. Show up as what they're asking you for. Yeah. So it's like, oh, when I was their age, this is what I would have wanted, so this is how I'm going to be. And it's like, bro, like, your age is done. Like, it's cool that you done, but like, really talk to these kids, understand why they value TikTok, understand why they are watching. Like, honestly, it was a lot of moments I had to show up for them and like be like vulnerable, to the point where they saw the Buffalo shooting on Twitter. Like, my students are in 8th grade watching, like, yo, he just came in like Call of Duty, and I'm like, how y'all feel about that?
Desensitized.
He's like, what you mean feel? I was like, oh. Like, this is y'all norm. And it was this awkward moment for me, because I'm like, I don't even want to watch that. Like,
I mean, but I think about it. I mean, when Columbine happened when I was a kid, I didn't
Mine
feel
too.
nothing about it. Hell, yeah, I remember the morning of 9/11, bro. I was at
Mm,
Crenshaw High in LA, and I remember waking up and it was already on the news. But by the time I got to school, the school was like not too far from my house. It was like nobody was like panicking. We weren't like feeling like
mm.
the world was coming to an end or we about to go to war. It was just like, yo, you seen that shit? All right, what we doing today?
Is what it is type of
Yeah,
thing.
what girl's checking for me, or what class is about to be about to be going crazy today. I'm coming down the hallway and check you out in whatever period. Like it wasn't like, oh my god, the World Trade Center. Like it was none of that.
Pandemonium.
I mean,
Mm,
think about my generation. We've literally went through probably like three different wars and probably three of the biggest, like end of the world supposed to be things.
mm.
Y2K, the pandemic, and then one of the little bird flus or whatever have you. I forgot which one it was, but
Oh, Swan,
right,
H1N1.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
All of it.
we went through some crazy things. So
The
it's just
recession.
like at the end of the day, each one of them, I can't remember ever feeling like no. Besides the pandemic, but
Mm.
I actually wanted it to go further. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wanted it to be a zombie apocalypse. I was like, I'm ready for it, baby. Let's do it. If we
We
go,
here.
yeah,
We here
if
now.
we gonna go this far, people beating each other up over toilet paper. I'm like, let's
Yeah,
go.
that was wild.
Yeah, let's go all the
Mm.
way. But I don't think no generation has ever been not desensitized. In numbers, like this percentage of the population is desensitized. This percentage of the population is overly sensitive to the situation. Let me think about my
Mm.
mom's generation. Baby boomers, they went through a crazy thing. Like, bro, the Vietnam War. I remember there's this wall that goes around, it travels, and it has all of the people that went to the Vietnam War at like 1817, and it has all their names on them. All the people that died in Vietnam.
Mm.
I remember the first time seeing it. It was out where my mom lives at and where she was born at, a little town called Ridgecrest. It's a military town too, so it really was like pivotal there. But she just saw like she actually saw some of her friends' names on the wall, and I'm just thinking, bro, you imagine being 17, 18, and then it's a war happening, and then the next day you off in a whole nother country or whatever, getting trained to go to a whole nother country, and then those people that you just went to high school, you never see them again, and it's just like, especially when you start seeing the movies and how violent them wars was. Like never having a chance. Like as soon as you hop off of the boat, they're already shooting bullets at you.
It's on go.
It's like, come on,
Like,
bro.
yeah. I even sit with like my grandfather being possibly 10, 12 when Emmett Till is murdered. Like to see that in the newspaper, see his face like that, and you're a child. And there's a lot of people that I've talked to who had that sentiment. Like they've spoken to me, elders who were like, yeah, when that happened, my parents treated me different. And it was like
Yeah,
a different energy. And sometimes they didn't speak to it directly. It just was new movement, new patterns.
yeah,
So we had Trayvon Martin. I'm in high school, confused about what I should wear hoodies anymore. And like, is these moments that
yeah.
are so similar, as we said, as patterns.
This pattern, human behavior is, I think it's a never-ending circle, or whatever. Pretty much, human behavior is never going to change because at the end of the day, we always have greed, we always have selfishness. I learned a little bit about my mom being a therapist and behavioralist, like, and also learning in college a little bit about therapy itself. But they say that when you're born, I think it's the id stage of your life. So it's supposed to be about the inner. It's all about you. As a baby, everything is about you. And then when you get into like the middle age of your life, it's like the ego. And then when you get older, it's the super ego. But I
Mm.
kind of feel like honestly, it's a little bit backwards. When people get older, they get more selfish in a
Mm.
sense because you start to feel like your time is coming up. So whatever goal or um whatever you wanted to do in life or wanted out of life, you start to get a little bit more grabby about it. Like, nah. I'm
Mm.
willing to do whatever to get it, kind of vibe. But then again, still, it's all about percentages because not everybody's like that. Like me, like yesterday, I don't care about giving away knowledge because at the end of the day, it's like I'm not the one that came up with it. I'm just the one that learned it. So at the end of that, I can't ever feel like, oh yeah, I'm just the smartest person in the world, or it makes me laugh when I see people like those ads on Instagram or TikTok. I'm gonna show you how to make, $25,000 tomorrow in real estate, and nobody's talking about it.
Right.
Nobody, huh? Just
It's no meetings that you've gone
I
to.
forgot how many people in the world it is. 8 billion people in the world. Nobody's talking about it. Or the ones that be like, the government doesn't want you to know this. But how did you find it out?
Right.
We still don't even know if it's aliens out here, but you found out like
These marketing strategies, these false senses of urgency. That's what I said a lot. Because the pandemic showed me that. But there was no true urgency because any day it could have been done. But when I recognized that can happen in mass, that's life anyway. Any day it can be done. Bruh. So what are you showing up as every day you get?
I was going hiking in the Angeles forest almost every day of the pandemic, just loving it. No traffic. So like, if you know LA a little bit, like I live in South LA and the Angeles forest is like up in the San Bernardino mountains. It's like usually it's like a 2.5 hour drive. I was getting out there like in an hour, 45 minutes, just loving it. Just free. There was nobody out there. Like, it's like people forgot that you can still go outside and be in nature. They didn't say you couldn't go, or I would go to Mount Whitney. Like, there's a lot of people that ask me about, or like not a lot of people, but people that follow me on IG. I had a post of me floating in this river, or this lake, I mean, and people were like, well, where is that at? And I'm like, it's in the desert. Like, it's not that far. It's not that crazy of a place.
You can go.
Like, yeah, literally just go down the freeway. You'll end up there. To a little driving. Like, it's only literally 2 hours out of LA. And that at that time, like, again, it wasn't a 2 hour drive no more. It was only like an hour and a half drive. So, but yeah, man, I gotta say, man, I appreciate. I gotta say it on the pod. I appreciate, what I saw on your IG and the reason why I even reached out, man. I gotta reiterate that because it's just like people on their journeys, and again, like when you find certain energies and you see it, like I was like, man, again, like I said, like I started doing yoga when I was 20 because I had to get out of a certain depression. I had to get out of a certain funk and find something to help me, and not just sit in it or be angry at whatever. Or whatever. So I saw your page. I was like, damn, okay, he's into yoga. He got his podcast going. He's trying to, not trying to, he's working on his creative aspect of his life. I'm like, just figuring it out. And it's crazy because my homeboy Ark always says that, man. He's like, it's just, every day you're just trying to figure it out, and you're just one day away from actually getting to where you want to go. Like when you hit a goal, like he just bought a house. Like I was telling you yesterday, he just bought his house and he sent me the picture with his truck and the sold sign. I was just like, damn. So all of that hard work and the broke days and all that stuff, you don't even remember it, bro. It's like your brain goes, every hardship you had didn't even happen. Now you are where you want to be.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna erase all the hardships. Even though you still remember them, but it's like that. When you're going through your hardships, it feels like every day just on your back.
Yep.
But as soon as you get that thing, you be like, huh. Okay.
Yes.
Now I can live life.
In recognizing, like, when it clears up, it was a lot that got you to the clear point. Sometimes it'll clear up and then it's like, well, I'm the reason. I'm the only reason. And it's like, bro, you had a whole community. You had therapy. You had a yoga training that you got in a humbling way, like that you ran from, but you still went to. Like, I talk about not needing therapy at times, but I have to step back to say, absolutely use therapy. But in anything you use, know why you're doing it and research what it is you're doing. Yeah. So with yoga, like I heard a lot of people saying this is demonic, this is that. I did the research. I
ain't never heard that one.
It's going wild in some of these Christian spaces. And it's interesting because I'm like,
yikes.
How is anything like it's based in positivity, it's based in moving the body and like releasing trauma. Like it's based on all of these things that everybody says they value, but they'll second guess.
This is
yoga
for me. I mean, I like to think of myself, not even think, but I know I'm very introverted with my personal thoughts and feelings. Because I don't feel like anybody should care or have to care, but to me, I've always been a person that was non-religious. Like I remember when I was a kid, I remember my grandma taking me to Baptist church all the time, and I just knew it wasn't for me. I knew I didn't believe in it, and not in a negative way, like, oh, these people are dumb because they do believe in religion or whatever have you. It's just like I can't believe this story. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to waste my time on earth trying to read a book that I know is tainted, you know what I'm saying, that was given to us by somebody else for a certain reason. So I'll just work on being a good person. I saw that early on, like, okay, you know, and I always tell people that, like literally tell people this when we talk about religion. I go, as a kid, if I hit somebody or if I made somebody cry, I go, damn, that was bad. I knew it even at that early age. Nobody had to tell me. But if I gave somebody like $1 and we went to the ice cream truck, or you know, or if they failed and I picked them up and then we start playing again and I got them to be happy again, oh, okay, you're a good person. You're doing good things. It was simple. Yeah. And I feel like that's what I figured out in life. Like, I ain't gonna worry about all the religious stuff. I ain't gonna worry about all the beliefs. At the end of the day, am I being a good person? You know, did I help somebody out today, whether it be a big or a small? Do I go through my life trying to make impacts on people's lives? And that's like my religion. If I want to use a word for it, you know, all the other stuff is just too complicated for me. And there is no true answer. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Right. It's like space. NASA and any government across the globe can tell you, oh yeah, we went to this place, we went to that place, but we can't go back again. Well, we truly don't know. All right. So why keep on racking my brain until somebody else goes back and they can continue to go back up and down, up and down, up and down, make it like a everyday thing. I just always thought like, I'm never going to down somebody for what they believe in. That's you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember from the time I was a kid, I went to a lot of summer camps, and it'd be kids from other countries, other states. And I was always intrigued, like, oh, damn, let me go see what they live like. You know, let me make a friend over there, because I'm from South LA, and I felt like the dude from that scene on Mighty Ducks 3, I think it was. It was the most cringy like moment ever. But it was a scene in Mighty Ducks where they were in the locker room and they were trying to like amp themselves back up, and they started yelling out where they were from, and everybody else was like, I'm from Des Moines, Iowa, or I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. And then the black kid got I'm Russ Tyler from South Central Los Angeles. I was just like, it sounds so bad. Like, I love my city, I love where I'm from, but it's just like everybody else had a name, and it's just like a location, South Central. It was just like, my goodness.
And look, this is Baltimore, USA. So that's the.
But at least it has a name still. Like, Baltimore is Baltimore. You can go, you know, but it's just like South Central is literally just a location.
Yeah.
You know, Los Angeles is Los Angeles, but you know, when you say specifically where you're from, because LA is just like every place else. Yeah, when you go to West LA, it's a whole different world. When you go to the east side of LA, it's literally a whole different world. Like, West LA it goes by race, literally. Like, West LA is predominantly white. South Central, South LA is predominantly black, and it has the next population that's bigger there is Latino. Then when you go to the East LA, it's literally more Latino, and it's the next predominant race is black. So it kind of like switches between East and South, where Latinos are more East based, and then black people are more South based.
And it's like everybody's in their own world.
But I mean, they, you know, people do cross the lines or whatever, like especially more so in the black and brown communities, it's always been that thing, you know, which is crazy that like people still let that whole black against brown thing happen. It's just like, bro, we live next door to each other. Like, for my whole childhood, like my family, like literally my family had my neighbors, you know, which my mom bought our house and then they bought their house back when I was younger. But you know, Jennifer, my like my big sister, she used to babysit me, bro. Like, and then her kids got, you know, to a certain age, I would watch after them. So it's just like Omar, Dolly, Destiny, they're all my little young siblings. You know, and it's crazy because I didn't realize, I thought they were just from El Salvador and Mexico. But then as I got older and started learning more about them, learned they're half Belizean too. So
you're in this, it's interesting because like, even when you spoke earlier about your perspective during the pandemic, and most of your perspectives, they come from this space of I've seen so many references in my life to what else can be that I can't stay with this one ideology long to the point where it's like, I'm going to impose a limit unknowingly, and then knowingly imposing it too is where it comes. Because I had the same, like the Baptist church concept is like, I recognize the value in things and I recognize what was fodder.
Yeah.
So there's this point where it's like actions speak louder than words. Honor thy mother and father. Be a leader, not a follower. And then I read Proverbs as an adult, and I was like, oh, a lot of people I've met in churches don't even live this part of the Bible, and it may not be preached on Sundays.
I mean, it's a crazy thing. Like, again, I don't ever judge anybody, because I mean, all the books in all the world, like if you look at the Quran, you look at any religious book or any religious kind of like teaching, like even like Buddhist monks. Like I remember I had a friend, or I mean, I'm still a friend to this day, but he's actually from Burma. His name is Genesar. And I didn't know at the time that he had came to America because of what was going on back where he was from. And basically China, the Chinese government were literally just killing Buddhist monks in the street. Like it was actually like a war, like low key, like, and it was just based off the fact that they were practicing Buddhist. And the Chinese government was like, no, you can't do that. It's illegal.
Were they practicing Taoism?
I don't know exactly.
But it's just the concept of killing somebody for what they believe has always been.
And I'm thinking in my head, you know, from my perspective, from seeing what Buddhist monks are, oh man, he's super, not docile, but super like just calm and, you know, doing the one fingers, the push-ups, and they just all about, you know,
out the way.
Like, they all about building within, you know, to not, you know, to better themselves and better their surroundings. They're like plant a plant if they take one out, you know, it's just that whole vibe. But then you hear about, you know, somebody in the government is like, it's something about what they doing that we don't like. And so we're going to shoot them down. But I say that to say a crazy thing. When he first came over here, you know, I was doing photography at the time, and I didn't think that he would have a certain type of personality or behavior. And so the first time I realized that it don't matter where you from, you can have sarcasm, bro. We was doing something, and we were out. Actually, we were eating Chinese food, bro, from Panda Express at all places. So here's a Chinese dude eating nasty ass American versions of Chinese food, but he's tearing it up. And so I looked at him and I said, "Genesar, you like this food? It's Chinese food." And he said something crazy back to me. He was just like, "Well, you know, food is food" or whatever. And I was just like, huh? I didn't think he would reply like that. You know what I'm saying? I thought he would be like not rigid, but again, not rigid, but I didn't expect his personality or him to have that personality trait of sarcasm, of fun, you know, especially being where he's from and where he just escaped from, like literally seeing his homeboys, you know, and people just get shot down in the streets and whatever. It's like, you can't judge nobody, bro. Because again, I mean, it's cliche to say, but we all are humans. So there is no one religion. There is no one race or whatever you call us, like, you know, Africans, Europeans, Asians, South Pacific, you know, islanders. There's nobody that does anything different.
Truly.
You know, again, I've always been like a connoisseur of learning other people's cultures, is because, like, think about it, bro. Latinos or South Americans and, like, say like black people or just Africans, because I group us all together, but everybody has a chicken dish. Everybody makes something out of pig intestines. We call it chitlins. Yeah. Most South Americans call it menudo. Bruh, everybody has the same food. We just do it in different ways. Literally,
it's hilarious because it's that concept I've sat with of there's a foundation and we all build something on top of it in a way that fits what we've come to understand over time. But it's like when we cross paths, we have the choice to either deny what the other person has done or accept it and be like, hey, I see why y'all did it that way. It can be that simple,
and it might make your stuff flyer.
It honestly will make your stuff flyer when you throw Spanish words in a verse. And you from Compton,
bro. The game killed that when he did that whole song in Spanish. I was like, come on, bro. Come on, I didn't even know he was that. I didn't even know he was that intelligent, because I look at that like an intelligence. That fact that you're older and you learn the Spanish,
you learn Spanish to kill a verse
and to rap in it. Because now you're trying to like do like the whole rap. I don't know all about rapping, but like you're doing the bars and you're making what is it called, soliloquies or whatever how you pronounce it. Like you're doing all that, but in a different language now. It's like, come on, bro. Come on, like that's
it's a testament to so much. And like I said, I sit with even value. Like your values are based on your experience, and you can have these experiences where you say, oh, why is Chinese bro eating that? Because there's a lot of other people who see that as well and like, nah, that ain't right, and don't speak to it, or they speak against it. Like, oh, you can't do that, bro. I can't even take you here. Let's go eat somewhere else.
Right.
So this is a constant thing of freeing yourself from these false limitations. I just been sitting with judgment so much lately because I recognize at the start of my yoga journey, we set like non-judgment.
Yeah.
Think about what you're judging, why you're judging it, when you judge it. And it's like, oh, my judgments have been a response to traumas of my past. Like they've been this false sense of protection. And a lot of times it just stood in the way of me soaring. It stood in the way of me taking off in spaces where I was actually accepted, but I didn't recognize how to show up because of judgment.
I mean, that's the dope thing about yoga, though. Is like when I started really getting into it and like not having any like limitations on what I thought about it. It was like, for one, mentally, I'm in this room and I'm doing this challenging thing to hold these poses. So first of all, that's my first mental kind of like test. It's like, okay, damn, I got to hold downward dog, but we just came out of chaturanga and then we went into vinyasa flow. I mean, we're doing vinyasa flow, so we're going into the next pose. And so that's I'm learning these things as we're going, but I'm like, yo. And then the second thing for me was I look to my right and it's this little ass, petite woman holding these poses like she ain't even sweating. I'm over here dying like, God damn, like. So now I'm like, yo, I can't let her show me out. So I do get a little bit of like, I gotta keep it up.
Ego, a little bit.
And then the third thing for me mentally was I started to think about my traumas or why I chose yoga to be that therapeutic thing for me. And I go, in the midst of these poses, I have a traumatic thought come up. And I'm like, damn, as a kid, that really messed me up. Or, as an adult, that really messed me up. And then I go, okay, but I'm still holding this pose. So which one matters more? The thing that happened to me yesterday or the thing I'm trying to accomplish right now.
Yes, indeed.
Right? And
absolutely.
So that was the thing for me. And even when I do yoga to this day, it goes, boom. I don't practice it as much as I used to, but I practice it when I need it, and I practice it when my body tells me I need it or my mind tells me I need it. And it's still the same thing. The first few poses, I'm like, oh man, here we go. And then after a while, I start to get into my flow. I start to warm up. I start to be able to be more flexible. And I do the same thing. Okay, what happened to me yesterday? And I think about it. Does it really have a hold on me, or do I want to let it have a hold on me? Not does it? Because I feel like everything you can allow to have a hold on you or not have a hold on you, right? Some things are bigger than others, yes. But for the most part, I think that's why the girl told me I was too happy, because it would be something like somebody cut her off from traffic. I'd be like, hey, you ain't got to honk at them. Just let them go. Because obviously, again, they got somewhere to be, but we got somewhere to be, and I feel like. Not a money amount, but I feel like I'm worth more than this little altercation of them cutting me off. Like I feel like my goal in life means a lot more to me than whatever reaction they gonna give you, which is not gonna be a positive one. If you go, boom, somebody just cut me off in traffic, honk honk, hey you stupid asshole. Whatever they're gonna do back, whether it be might shoot you, might flip you off, might try to aggressively, swerve their car towards you, whatever it is, what I'm doing in life. It's way more than that, bro.
Yep.
It's like the quote I heard about what's your boy? I think it's Warren Buffett or whoever it is, some rich billionaire. You insert the name, whoever your favorite one is. They're like, bro, if bro was walking down the street and he stopped to pick up $100 bill, he would waste more time and more money stopping to pick that $100 bill up than keep on walking past it. And so that's how I be thinking.
Absolutely.
That altercation, I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my money.
I got way more wise than that moment. That don't even align. Like, what is that? And it's also this conscious effort of being. The state of being is showing up as it rather than trying. So to be peaceful, it's not, oh, maybe I should. It's just an action. And it's this continual effort that allows you to be in a flow state where it's like, I am worth a lot. I am great. I'm great before the world acknowledges it. This is valuable. CharmCityBipper was valuable when I was in the car thinking of it. Like I'm riding to some event and I was just reflecting on like my Instagram names. And I was like, Quis The Vndl is kind of getting played because people can't spell vandal. Like it was an acronym. It was VNDL. I was like, this is kind of annoying explaining it.
Siri.
I asked Quis The Vndl, and they're like, people's like Quis The Vndl. I was like, I'm done with it.
Right.
But I still enjoy the name, and it has so much history for me because it came at another turning point. So each name has been like a turning point. It was known as Quis The Vndl, CharmCityBipper. I was like, oh. I love people saying Bipper.
I don't even know what does that mean out here.
Bipper is like, I say it is motion. is also getting fresh. Like barbers call themselves Bipper. Like, yo,
I'm about to say that one dude out here that speaks in that language. I heard him Bipply to
Bipply snip.
Yeah. But it's crazy because in Oakland they use the word bipping, but it's a whole different thing. So
I peeped.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna show up in Cali, but this ain't no disrespect to nobody out there. This is just East Coast, like bipping.
That's what I'm saying. We all have the same words, bro.
That's the facts too. Like even a lot of my friends were from New York or Jersey, so they come down with their words. We like mingle them in, and I'm saying facts. I'm saying my guy. I'm like,
that's definitely New York.
Where's this coming from? Like, so.
But no, that's so basically you're saying like how you're I guess thinking about the name,
right? So I'm just like CharmCityBipper. I'd heard people say Harm City, Body More Murderland, all these things, and I was
crazy.
It was insane. But it was like people had gained this sense of pride about the toughness, this pride about the fact that people like we got high murders. Like I didn't understand that.
Yeah, that's not tough.
I couldn't get with it. It wasn't tough at all. But it was a mindset, right? And again, back to no judgment. It's just people come to their understandings and they cling to them because they're their understandings. Yeah. So it's like there's not a lot of room to be made for others when the reasons you're even clinging to them are based on trauma. It's like, well, we kill people and that means something. And like, I'm not scared. So like, I go with a gun because I'm not scared. I go everywhere with a gun and a black mask on because I'm not scared. It's these things are like, I'm trying to convince myself of something that I really don't need to convince myself of if it's true. But this is your space, bro.
Hey, Money.
Yes, sir.
He's one of the Cajou Creamery family.
Right.
You might as well just walk in front of it.
Yeah, you might as well. You can do a little piece. Wait, you know what I'm saying?
There you go.
This is that space. Bless us, man. But yeah, it's just, I was becoming conscious of the power of words. Yeah. And say in so many religions and so many spiritual beliefs that life and death is in the power of the tongue. It's said in different ways, it's translated in so many different ways, but this small organ behind my teeth has the power to uplift someone or completely destroy their day. So I was like, let me find a way to speak to the love I have for this place and also represent where I've been. Running to every event last year, Vegan Soul Fest, Black Ass Flea Market events, school events. I was teaching. I went to Florida last summer. Like it was all of these random moments and it was stressful to get through it, but it was like, I got through.
Yeah. I mean, being outside in that manner is I guess it's pushing you to get to where you feel like you want to be at, you know? And in that journey you find, okay, this is where I truly want to end up, you know?
Facts.
Like it's kind of, I mean, all these things are cliche when they say like, you know, the true, I forgot how you say it or whatever, but the journey is like the true destination, not the destination itself, I guess. But and then you find out low key though, it really is like, damn, you know, that journey when you look back and when you think about what you went through, you be like, yo, that was fire. I went through it, you know what I'm saying? Or I had a good time doing whatever, you know, it's just like, because then by the time you get to your goal at the end of it, it'd be like, now what do I do?
Hey, set a new goal.
Exactly.
It's so beautiful because it's like when I first, like I began to understand the journey was more important than the place you're trying to be. That's like like something from a poem I wrote too, but it's a concept we all know, right? As I began to recognize that, I saw also that I was bitter about a lot of my journey. I was bitter. I was resentful to people. I was like, this is your fault, pointing. And I was like, why though? Because you're on this side. So why does it matter what anybody did during the journey?
Human nature, man. It's what you taught. I mean, that's a dope thing about, I'll be thinking about like why did my mom choose to be a therapist? And I remember I asked her and she was just like, cause my family had so much trauma. I wanted to be able to learn the human mind and brain a lot better to see why, you know, people are the way they are. And I was just like, that's smart as hell. You know what I'm saying? I wish she would have went the psychotherapist way so she could have made a lot more money. But, you know, everybody finds what they love or whatever. And she, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. She makes a lot of money, which is crazy. But I thought about that and I was just like, damn, okay. So you go bitterness and, you know, you start to like look at other people and you start to try to like point finger and blame and all that stuff. And honestly, I started thinking about that. I was like, a lot of our, I guess 100% of what we are and who we are is all learned behavior. All right, from a kid, let's say if they left you out in the middle of the jungle, you would learn how animals like Mowgli from the
Big
Jungle
facts.
Book. You would learn those behaviors. But if in society we go from childhood, okay, you see a baby doing something, no, don't do that. That's a learned behavior. Anything else you start to learn behavior or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think learning that fact kind of like made me a lot less stressed about interactions with people. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't take things personal, and I learned that from my homeboy Art too. It was like for business, he was like, he really gave me some game a few years back about like just how to sell or how to even just conduct myself as far as emotion wise. And I literally have no emotions about business anymore. Like for the last 5-6 years, when if I had a bad customer or something like that, I don't look at it like, oh man, this person is trying to make my business. Oh no. I just figure out a way intelligently to make sure that problem is not a problem no more. Like one of the coldest things I learned was like, when I remember I was doing landscaping, is that I made up a email that was supposed to be like my boss. So when I would go to the projects, if I'm doing a project like I'm building a fence or building a deck or whatever it was, a pergola, and I'm dealing with the client, they get to bring their stress straight to me. Like, oh, it doesn't look like how I want it to be, blah, blah, blah. And I would just go, oh, hey. How are you doing today? Your day going well? Okay, now we can talk. Yeah, so, remember when we both all sat down and, we said we got your ideas on what you wanted to build and all this stuff. Or if you have any other issues or if you want to change anything, you can hit my boss Garrett up. The email that you have on file, yeah, you can contact him. There was no Garrett. But what it allowed me to do was, for one, not to be angry while I'm trying to work and finish this project. Because now I put the person's emotions and attention towards somebody else, some totally different entity. And now they're going to write that email. And by the time they got to the email, it usually was like, well, hey, I thought that we're going to, like, it got a little less aggressive. And then by the time I got home or the next morning, whenever I wanted to reply to it, it also gave me time to reply to what they were trying to say. So now, again, I'm not replying with a sense of like, oh, I need to defend myself. Nah, I'll take a whole day and a half to reply back.
Absolutely.
And then by the time I reply back, oh, hey, per our discussion, before we first set up the project, blah, blah, blah. If you refer back to, I had him with all the corporate jargon, bro. And it felt good. It felt good because then it goes, oh, well, if we can get to it. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. Now you know how to act. But it's like you're teaching a person how to basically treat you. And again, you got to be able to do that. A lot of times, I like Michael Jai White a lot. I don't know if you ever watched his videos, bruh. He is one of the coldest, calmest persons ever. Like when he's teaching people how to do karate stuff and like how calm he is, I'm like, yo, but this dude could have chopped you in your throat and killed you.
That's true humility.
I'm like, come on, bro. Like, and I've never seen, like, there was one incident when he was like, he was talking to somebody like in an interview or whatever, and they were like disrespecting him. And he just kind of kept on standing there and was smiling. And then at a certain point, he just kind of like took the smile off his face and he kind of just gave him a look like, are you good? And the dude looked back in and was like, oh, my bad. And he was like, he didn't even say anything besides, you good?
But, you know who I am, right?
But it said a whole lot, though. He didn't get aggressive. He knows he's big. He knows he can bam, chop you in your neck. But it was just like, again, he hit him with the corporate version of no emotions about this. I'm not taking what you're doing. That's super disrespectful.
How you doing today? People working, you understand? It's a business. But absolutely, I laugh at that for two reasons. True things speak for themselves. I used to tell my students that all the time. Do I have to walk in here and tell y'all I'm tall?
Right.
Like, no. Right. Y'all tell me every time I walk in here. Mr. Garrett, like, it just is what it is. So it's like when you're truly that thing and your work speaks for you. It speaks volumes. And another quote I loved, and I may be butchering this, but Jordan Peterson spoke on how some people are proud of not trying. They're proud of their weakness, as if weakness is some type of sign of humility. But it's like the true testament of humility is to have the ability to do it and not. That's discipline. Yeah. Because if you can kill everybody in the world and you choose not to kill anybody, that's humility. Yeah. To be weak to the point where you didn't have an option to kill nobody isn't a flex. Like, oh, I never joined a gang. Where was there what opportunity was there to join a gang in the neighborhood you grew up in? So it's this part of like, okay, you didn't do it in the gang, but you definitely tried cocaine in high school. So you did succumb to some type of peer pressure. There was some impact of your peers in the spaces you grew up in.
Right.
That's that part of, again, non-judgment, but it's this concept of just recognizing and giving another perspective to others' experiences. There's people, like, I don't say people, but in my own experience, I was oftentimes quick to say what others weren't doing rather than recognizing how I wasn't showing up.
Yeah, I made a conscious decision a long time ago, just only speaking my own experiences.
Absolutely.
I anytime I hear somebody, like anytime I would catch myself saying people, I would say, oh no, me, because then that
and it feels it's truer.
it takes a lot more courage to go me and give an experience like you just in a regular conversation, you talking to somebody. And if I realize that somebody's speaking in all these generalized points, I'm just like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? No judgment, but I get it. You can't focus on yourself because it's a lot harder. You might be talking to somebody and you speaking about yourself, and now you realize that you did something shitty, and you be like, oh, doesn't mean that you're a shitty person, but it just mean that now you have to be cognizant of not trying to not be a shitty person, you know,
Right.
or you might catch the other way. It might be a positive, like, oh man, I was good, you know, that day, or I did do something good that day. So I just always try to keep it like how you just caught yourself. That's funny. I literally always do that. I catch myself in conversation with two things mainly: doing that, speaking in generals, and then also when I slip and say the word try, I stop myself and I go, I'm not trying, I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I caught that earlier when you were saying, yeah, because you were trying to do your art. Is like, no, he's doing his art is real. It was that point for me. Someone gave that to me. A teacher of an audio engineer class, Gary Good. He was like, y'all keep saying trying to make music. Y'all literally in the studio learning audio engineering techniques, and y'all got mixtapes.
You're physically doing it right now.
Doing the act, and it's more empowering to say I'm doing it because it's like I am a guy from a place.
Yeah.
I am a podcaster. I am a yogi. I'm not trying to do yoga. I'm doing yoga. I'm doing the practice.
I mean, I love it. You know, I love the movement of empowering yourself wherever you are. Like I was saying to somebody the other day, like I was in Sephora with a friend, not for myself, but I was like looking at all the models because I've been a photographer back in the day. It was like the models were one specific type, you know, and it was just like if you weren't that, you weren't getting on no billboards, you weren't doing anything in modeling. And now when you go to Sephora, it's literally just regular looking women modeling this makeup now, and I'm like, damn, that's dope. You know, I mean, of course, corporate is doing it because they know it sells right now, but the idea that at some point they push their hand or they force their hand on corporate to even make it be a thing. You know, like I saw there were dark women, light-skinned women, you know, plus size women, skinny women, women that had like not the conventional facial structure with freckles or a gap. I was just like, damn, that's dope as hell. Because at the end of the day, all women, all people do use everything. It's like you're never not gonna go somewhere and see somebody not wearing shoes. So why shouldn't everybody be able to wear model shoes? You know, if I see somebody just besides Buddhist monks, but even them, they wear sandals.
Absolutely, you gotta cover them feet.
Yeah, maybe they want to, you know, maybe they want to model some sandals. You know, who knows?
It is funny because like I'm reflecting on times where I used to get upset seeing people sell positivity. It's like, how could I be mad about that? I could understand it from a concept of you're selling positivity, but you're not actually positive.
Yeah.
But I still benefit if I take it on for my own value.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, there's like a point where, you know, at a certain point, there's what do you call it? Like scammy vibes from positivity. Like I remember there's this one guy back in LA. He was doing Herbalife and he had like recorded this guy about to commit suicide from jumping off a building. And everybody was like, wait, you're recording him and telling everybody what's going on when you could have just went up there and tried to save him.
Wow.
Like what, like, you know, luckily the dude didn't jump, but it was just like, it just feels weird. I'm not saying that he was maybe all the way unintentional, you know, trying to just get clout on Instagram, but it was just like, damn, bro, like in a real situation like that, I couldn't have recorded that. Cause my brain just goes, yo, I'm about to see something horrific.
There is that line. And I've come up against it a couple times with family where I'm like, do I share this moment right now? No, because this is ours to have. Like recently, I reflect on it a lot because it's so recent, but like losing the family member I lost, and I said it, who it was if you watched the other ones, but going through that experience was like, I don't want to tell everybody immediately, but then there was a point where people were speculating and it made me uncomfortable with the speculation. And there was like this question of my character because I stopped showing up in spaces. I was like, well, I heard people say give yourself grace, but are you all giving me the grace that you're expecting me to give myself? Because there's this timeline, this unspoken timeline of grief for certain deaths in people's minds. Like, oh,
yeah, I'm very personal with any of that. Nobody would never know none of my family members died. I just ain't gonna say nothing. Yeah,
just keep it moving.
Keep it to myself, you know, and grieve in my own way, which is gonna be a lot of crying. I ain't gonna lie, but it's not gonna be where anybody knows that I'm crying. Like, yeah, when I lost my grandma, it hurt me, and it's crazy because she lived a full on life, like 95, 96. So it wasn't like it was like, okay, you know, she died too soon, nothing like that. But it was just like, you grow up with a person like that. And I was with my grandma every summer of my childhood, you know, and that's the woman that gave me my, like, even my little bit of a Southern, you know, accent a little bit, because she was from Woodville, Mississippi. And I remember, like, I'll be eating watermelon right now. Like, even like a few weeks ago, I had some watermelon. And I was like, damn, I just got a little bit sad, because I was like, me and my grandma used to literally go get watermelon every summer. And so some things to some people aren't personable, you know, like they like to share it on social media, and that's fine. But like for you, I would just say my suggestion for you is like, man, if you like to keep things personal, just keep it personal. Like, so nobody, it's because it sounds weird to me when you said like people had this expectation of you with your loss. It's like, it's my loss. Right. I don't.
And that's the confusing part, because I've stepped into it to recognize that's what it ultimately becomes anyway, because it's like so many things going on in people's lives at any point that you don't know, but you just give a natural grace to. Like, people are like, oh my gosh, you made my day. You don't even know what I was going through. I wasn't doing it in that way, but my intention has always been, let me maintain at least a balanced mind and open heart for anybody that comes across my path. So true. I'm in a school building where it's kids that might quite literally on the verge of suicide, or on it feeling a heavy thing. Parents were arguing before they dropped them off. Stomach rumbling.
That's a big one. I used to think about all the time, like how many people, like even when I was in high school, I used to think about some of my friends, and I knew they didn't eat before they came to school.
Real talk.
Or up until lunch, when they can kind of like beg around and get some chips from somebody over here, get a swig of a soda. I'm like, God damn, bro, I can't imagine living like that.
And I made a joke out of it at times because I didn't really understand the weight of it until I was going through it. Like, oh wow, like it is a possibility of not having nothing to eat all day, and this is like irritating because I'm learning on an empty stomach. Like, double annoying.
Half of the ADHD or the ADD, whatever, half of that shit just be like, nigga, the kids are coming to school, bro. Lack of nutrition, bro.
Lack of nutrients. Lack of nutrition is insane.
Like, I'm not saying everybody's poor, but it just be like, you imagine, like, you know, half of the kids that are going to inner city schools, maybe their parents are, you know, single parents. And even if they are, like, 'cause my mom is a single parent, but shit, she held down literally five portions of our family, our immediate family. So it's like she financially could do it. So let me strike the single part, because some single parents be making bread. But let's just say you got a family where you're not really making no bread, you know, whether it be two adults in a household or not. Like, I didn't realize how many people actually go to school hungry as shit. And then you go, all right, you know, homeroom, sit down and start learning. First period, sit down and start learning. Second period, sit down and start learning. And then you go to nutrition. So you went through, you came from a house, and now you sat through 2.5 hours of class, you know, trying to sit through 2.5 hours of class with other kids and their conditions or, you know, experiences or whatever, on top of you sitting there like trying to not show everybody that you hungry. Because that'd be the second part of it. Like, you know, if a kid is in that situation, it's like, you can't show other kids that you ain't got food at your house. Because now they're looking at you, damn, what your homeless at, you hungry ass. That's the first thing somebody say to you. Now you might get emotional about that, and now you want to fight them.
Yep. It's these domino effects that nobody's speaking on. I love Ali Sadiq's newest stand-up for so many reasons.
Yeah, dude is raw. Crazy
raw, but like in the way it needs to be. And the story he tells, his story, is it's so many people's story.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because he's come out on the other side, and some people still had this pushback, like, how could you say that? But it's like, because I did. Because it's my truth. And this is how I'm moving within it. And I'm like using this to let you know, like, that wasn't an ending for me. There is no end as long as I got breath in my lungs.
See, but again, people are too emotional, bro. Like, there's no reason why in this day and time there should be a thing against comedians being able to say what they want to say. It's literally the profession, comedian. Like, if I go somewhere and I don't like what's being said, I just walk out. Like when the Creamery dude was saying the N-word on the on his one of his sets, and the dude went down there, you know, and was like, you know, or the black dude in that balcony was kind of like complaining about it or whatever. I'm just like, I didn't have no emotion about it. I'm like, it ain't like I never heard a white dude say that a hard ER. All right, cool, you said it. The more thing I would do, and that's what I tell all my people, all my friends, bruh, play the victim role. Like sometimes, or a lot of times in our culture, African Americans or just black people, we got to be tough. I got to stand up. Like all these videos you see of people, brother, here's what you do. Next time a Karen or whatever, I ain't never even had them situations. I'll be praying for them, honestly, so I can go ahead and get my check. But this is what you do. Somebody out there trying to, like, you know, tell you can't go somewhere, or they're trying to stop you, or they're calling you a nigger. Cool. Get you a therapist. Go find you a lawyer and claim that you have so much social anxiety, it's crippling.
Don't miss that one.
I can't go outside. I can't look at anything white, not white bread, not white t-shirts. Every time I hear the words that they spoke to me, I just break down. And
I feel so miserable as of late. I just don't understand what my present reality is.
Look here, bro. I'm trying to tell you, the flip side of that, like, even with so many times, like, and it goes a little crazy, like when people get shot, like the lady that just got shot from her trying to go retrieve her kid's iPad, which is crazy as hell. But I wouldn't have went over there I'd have been like, oh yeah, she called my son a nigger, and oh man, we would sue the shit out of her old ass. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that really hurts people is money, right? Like, you can beat somebody up, they don't really give a shit.
Money talks.
But if you cripple them, if you take their finances, then the behavior changes a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, and the last thing, if you can, this might sound wild, and I remember my homeboy Art says this when you get in a car accident, but I think for situations like this too, you need to pee on yourself. If somebody's berating you and they're like physically like in your face and doing all the whole, you know, I'm gonna make you feel bad, or, you know, because they're white and you're black, they're trying to berate you. If you pee on yourself in that moment, that means that you have internal trauma. Now, when you go to that therapist, I mean, you go to go get you a physical, even at the hospital, they might tell you nothing's wrong with you internally, but the fact that you did means that you have something wrong with you internally. And you know what that means? More money.
Yes, indeed. It's a physical sign, and then there's also humiliation, whatever else you want to use later on in your case.
Oh,
get busy.
God, I peed on myself. It's all on social media. I can't go outside.
My life is forever.
I want your money. I want your money. And
yes.
if I can't get your money, of course, I mean, suing the city is kind of like, you know, it's a catch-22, but sue whoever you got to sue. Get your money. Don't sit there and fight them, because, you know, like, as soon as the cops come, it ain't gonna be on your side. Like, I just watched a video of a black dude. He was out there at one of the Trump rallies, and he had a sign that said, you know, Trump is a word or whatever, like an asshole, blah blah blah. Like 5, 6 white dudes walked up to him like, you get out of here, you blah blah blah, and they're berating him. It looks like they're about to start trying to punch him. He had to fake like he had something in his pocket, right, to kind of like low key kind of get him back just a little bit, but they still wasn't really, they were still kind of like pushing him back, walking him down. The cops show up. They're already at the rally. They pull up. One of the main white dudes was literally already by the cop. Hey, it was the black dude over here. He got a gun. Guess what happened? They didn't like jump on him right away, but they let the black dude walk away a little bit, because they had to get all the white people from like trying to like pounce on him. And then they walked over to him. He still had his sign. They kind of like gently grabbed his sign and was like, hey, do you have anything on you? I'm like, bro, literally, he wasn't the aggressor.
Yep.
But the switch was, as soon as the cops came, oh, we're the victims. So I mean, it's a simple game. Does your pride go, no, I'm not gonna let nobody punk me, or does your business mind go, because life is a business. Does your business mind go, I got y'all. Hey, I would have curled up on the ground as soon as they would. Oh my God,
Pride before the fall is a game of chess. Are you gonna play yourself to
bro!
be the pawn on the front line for no reason?
I'm suing the city. I'm
Yeah,
suing Trump
get
because
busy.
this is his people. I'm suing them. I'm suing the police department. I'm suing everybody, bro.
Fear for my life. My life was
Come
threatened.
on, man. Come on, man. Look
Easy.
here. If a woman back in the 90s sued McDonald's because a cup of coffee was too hot and it burned her, that set precedent. It was bullshit.
Me and my uncle joke about that all the
It
time.
was bullshit, but she set precedent.
She did.
It's about money, bro. Come on.
It is. It's honestly, it's funny because there's the recent story about the Starbucks incident where and I'm just like, the manager sued the company and came up
About money, bro.
about money.
They
Dollar
fired me
incentive.
they fired me because I'm white.
They fired me because I'm white.
You got-
Dollar incentive. Ooh.
When more people learn that life is a business, no matter what part of the world you're in, like all of our lives are our business. Like it's a lot of people that always put out there, like, you know, your social security number literally it means that you're indebted to, or you're a piece of the debt that the U.S. owns to whatever other country, which is kind of like low key true. You know, that's why a lot of people break out and try to become entrepreneurs because they realize, oh shit, all this work that I'm ever going to do on life, if I work for another company, is literally just to pay back debt to another country, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So life is a business. Try to check your emotions about anything that happens to you in life, whether you're somebody you're talking to personally, like a relationship, whether it be somebody in the streets trying to get at you. Hey man, look here, I know I can physically take care of myself, but somebody come at me, I'm waiting for the day, bro. I'm suing everybody. I don't give a shit. And like I said, if I can pee, I'm peeing on myself too. Calling moms up back in.
I see Brennen, that brother. I'm too big to be.
I'm calling moms up back in Cali. Hey man, I need one of your best therapist friends because it can't be your loved one. Give me the Jewish white lady that's a therapist from Pepperdine.
Put some distance to it.
I need her. I need all the medicine. Even if I ain't gonna take it, I need all the medicine. Yeah, I got all these medicines now. I can't. Oh my gosh, I need all of that.
I'm distressed.
Yeah, I need your bread though. So, but yeah, man, this opportunity was really dope, man.
Absolutely.
Like I said, it's sometimes you meet people and it doesn't have to become a hard thing to make it work. You know, and I feel like that, like yesterday, like I feel like we've been homeboys for years, and it's just like crazy. You know, like just been out here for 6 months so far on my real estate investing journey.
So dope.
And it's like certain people that I meet, like Dwight, literally walked into this shop. My second month here, and was like, hey, yo, I'm here from LA. I'm a real estate investor, but I'm just introducing myself to people in the city that are business owners. And we literally sat here in this very shop and talked here for like 3 hours, bro. The first time I met him. Same thing like yesterday with me and you. And it was just like, oh, this is another brother. You know, like family.
Absolutely. When you're aligned with your purpose and aligned with truth, and you understand you can put ego aside, a lot of things show up for you in the way they're supposed to. Yeah. And it's true gratitude. I've taken away a lot from this conversation. And I know that whoever's watching this is going to know to pee on themselves and to get that therapist and to release some judgment, let your ego be put to the side, and make the day that you want, make the life that you would like.
Yeah.
And as you know, as I always say, one day made better is many days made greater. I'm uplifting you to be in a world that cares. If I keep it to myself, I think that's unfair. The joy I've been given is best when shared. Visionaries never die, legends survive. Through the seeds we sow daily, we get better with time. I'm here at Cajou Creamery on Howard Street. Couples Tea is next door. Vegan Juiceology is next door. We got vinyls and pages all on the strip. There's a dope space across the street where they do art exhibits, I believe, in performances, and there's a bar. There's just so much going on around here in this city that I love. Bippity, don't lose sight of the visions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Damn, you remember that every time, bro?
It's my line.
Holy shit.
I'm gonna make a lot of money on that.
That is crazy that you remember that.
Yes.
Now that's dope. Appreciate you, bro.
Yes. Yeah. We were searching for the right way, did a lot of wrong. Can't go back, gotta move on. Gotta move forward with corrections given and accept the living. Still brings pain, even when you're moving with the best intentions. And you blessed with visions of joy, bliss, peace. Gratitude for every day I live to speak and I live to breathe in growth and abundance.